Hi, this is A. Nageshwara working as Associate Professor in affiliated college under JNTU. Uh, in this video, I will explain what is computer and what are the important basic functionalities of computer, and after that, I will explain what is computer system. Okay, so what is computer? Generally, we can define computer as basic electronic device. Computer is an electronic. Computer is an electronic device. Then what is the purpose of this device? Generally, this device is receiving or taking input and instructions as or data and instructions as input, which takes data and instructions. Data and instructions as input, and which produces means which processes the input and produces the result. Is it clear now? So based on this we say the computer is performing three different operations in sequence. What is the first operation? Three different operations in sequence the computer can perform. It receives data it receives data and instructions. It receives data and instructions from the user. It receives data and instructions from the user. But data may be once data is supplied by the user, that data may be available in memory, but it receives both data and instructions. Who supplies the data and instructions? User or developer or programmer can supply data and instructions. And the next step is system can process the data based on instructions. Generally, those instructions are giving the directions to the compiler for performing operations on the respective data. Okay, na? So the process the data using instructions, whatever the instructions that are included or are written by the programmer, those instructions are used by the compiler for processing the data. So processing the data using instructions. So we are supplying instructions in the form of program. Okay, in one specialized programming language. So after processing, the third operation is which provides output. Okay, na? So that output may be either stored in computer memory, or sometimes we can supply or send that particular output to the output devices like monitor or printer. Whenever you want to take the printout, that particular output may be transmitted to the printer as input. Or whenever we want to view the output, then we use a monitor as a display system for displaying the output. Or if you want to hold this particular output in the computer memory, then the compiler stores this particular output. Okay, so these are the three important operations which can be performed by the system or computer. Then I will show you as in diagram. I will show you all these operations as diagrammatic representation. So this is, if you see the diagram, computer processes the information. Either it takes the input from external environment through this input block. Okay, na? And or which stores the if the data is already available in storage, which takes that particular information by using processor, which process the information, and finally which produces the output. That output may be again transmitted back to storage, or that particular output may be transmitted to output system. Then what is input now? I will explain this basic block diagram now. So this basic block diagram is displaying the functionalities which can be performed by the system. So input. So first one is input. What is input now? So generally input is supplied by uh, the programmer or developer or user through input devices. What are the input devices available? So generally input devices are keyboard, a mouse, or any other input. So generally by using those input devices, user can supply that particular input. And these input devices related data, generally we are giving user understandable data as input, but internally that particular data can be converted into system understandable format. Okay, na? So that system understandable format is going to be stored in memory whenever you give that particular information. Okay, then what is the second block now? Second block is processing. So that particular data, either lively at the time of running, the program may ask the data from the user, or if you make that particular data well in or available well in advance to the program, then that data may be reside in storage, and processor can access that particular data from storage. But finally By using processor, the processing taking place and which produces the output. Okay, na? Then what are the output devices now? So once output is obtained by the system, or once output is produced, that particular output is transmitted in two different directions. One is, if you want to see the output, by using programming instruction, the suitable instruction we have to include in program, that suitable instruction can send that particular information to display system, or that particular instruction may send the information to the storage. Okay, that is. So then what is storage now? Generally storage is memory. The storage is memory. That particular memory device holds the output. The memory device is holding the output internally in program, internally in system. That particular storage is holding data as well as instructions. Whatever the instructions or program you are running, that particular program must be available in computer. Okay, na? So that particular storage may hold this data as well as instructions set our program. So whenever the data instructions are required, that particular data and instructions are extracted by the processor by using operating system, and that particular data may be processed via these instructions, because these instructions are instructing the processor to do so and so operation. So based on those instructions only, the data can be manipulated in the system, and that particular data related output is produced. That output is treated as useful output. That output is treated as useful output. This is about computer, very basic information related to computer. I'm not dealing with computer parts. Just I'm saying what is the purpose of computer, what is computer, and what are the functionalities of computer. Is it clear what is computer now? It is electronic device which takes input, and input means data and instructions as input, and which produces output. So that's why we can say the computer is performing these operations in sequence. One is receiving data and instructions from the user or memory, and second in one is processing the entire data using processor and entire data using instructions, whatever the instructions supplied, by utilizing one important part, that is heart of the computer, that is processor. Okay, na? Here instructions are manipulated using processor. Okay, and finally, which produces the output, that output may be transmitted to output device. If you observe the keenly, you can identify how the functions are performed by the processor. System. Okay, na? Then what is computer system now? What is computer system? Computer system means complete. What is computer system? What do you mean by system? System is complete part now. Complete one. How the entire computer becomes a complete system? Because if you see the computer, there are two important parts. There are two important parts in the computer. One is hardware. Second one is software. One is hardware, second one is software. So hardware and software combination is system. If you combine these two, then only we treat it as, if anyone is failed, we cannot treat it as a complete system. If hardware is not there, then we cannot load any software. If software is not there, we cannot make hardware parts working. Is it clear? With the help of software only, all the hardware parts are working based on the instructions performed, based on instructions supplied. If there is no hardware, then we cannot load any software. We cannot load any data. We cannot load any instructions. Is it clear now? So that's why hardware and software combination is making the computer as complete system. That's why we treat this combination as computer system now. Okay, na? Then what is hardware now? What is hardware? What is hardware? Hardware is physical equipment. Whatever the physical equipment that is available, that physical equipment is called hardware. Means touchable. Hardware is touchable. We can touch each and every part. So hardware is treated as touchable items in the computer. So we can treat them as physical devices. Okay. Suppose if we see the hardware, so it consists of five important parts. If you see that system itself showing, that block diagram itself showing, one is input devices. All input devices are coming under hardware. Output devices, all the output devices are coming under hardware. Then central one is there, na, processor. Processor is also hardware. And the memory. So generally, if you see the memory, that memory is categorized into two parts. One is primary memory, second one is secondary memory. Okay, so there are four parts visible. But internally under storage, we can categorize storage into two different storage types. One is primary storage, second one is secondary storage. So that block diagram itself displaying five hardware parts. Okay, na? Once again I will name Hardware parts are input devices. Second part is output devices. What is third hardware part? Third hardware part is central processing unit. And fourth hardware part is categorized into two parts. One is primary memory. Second one is secondary memory. Okay, na? So one is primary memory, second one is secondary memory. So these are the hardware parts. Okay, these are the hardware parts. I have already explained input devices. So input devices are used for supplying input to the system. So those input devices may be keyboard, mouse, or any other joystick like that. Some input device are there. So through those input devices, the user can supply the required input to the system. Then what are output devices now? Output devices are displaying the output either in the form of printing or in the form of soft copy. So if you want to get the hard copy, then use the printer for printing the information. Then relative instruction may be used in program, or otherwise if you want to see that particular output as a soft copy, then display device is there, that is monitor. Then by using monitor we can show the output. Okay, na? So like that some output devices are there. Then what is CPU? CPU is heart of the system. Heart of the system, like our heart in the body, we treat CPU as heart of the system. CPU can perform all arithmetic and logical units, logical operations. CPU can perform all the required operations. Suppose if involve addition, subtraction, multiplication, or any other logical operators, or any shift like operations, that those operations can be performed by the CPU. Whatever the instructions you give, those instructions can be successfully performed by the CPU. From that CPU we get the output. Is it clear now? Okay, na? Then what is primary memory now? So this primary memory is available in computer. This primary memory is available in computer. That primary memory is RAM or ROM. What is RAM? Random access memory. ROM is read-only memory. So random access memory, RAM is random access memory, ROM is read-only memory. Okay, na? So RAM is used for running the program. Whenever you want to run any program, the operating system simply copies the currently running program into RAM, random access memory. So that particular one is directly accessible by the CPU. Instead of accessing the required information from the secondary memory or hard disk, it is very, if the operating system makes the required information available to processor very nearer in RAM, then the RAM memory can be directly accessible by the CPU. Okay, that is primary memory. So the entire software is loaded in ROM, read-only memory. Read-only memory, no one can, once that particular information is loaded into ROM, no one can arrange. But RAM is erasable. This is volatile memory. RAM is treated as volatile memory. What is meant by volatile? Suppose if power goes off, then the entire information in RAM is going to be erased. Nothing is available. Okay, no? That's why we must save timely. So whenever you are processing the information, or running the program, you are supposed to save the information which is reside in RAM. Then only that will be visible in secondary memory. Okay, na? Then what is secondary memory? The hard disk, tape drives, disks and drives, all these are secondary memories. Those are removable memories. Secondary memories are removable memories. Those memories are permanent. Those are not going to be erased even power goes off. If we save, then that particular information can be successfully reside in secondary memory. If any other problems like natural calamities, so those natural calamities may damage the secondary memory, and otherwise the secondary memory permanently holds the information. Okay, na? So this is about hardware. So hardware is physical equipment. We can touch that particular hardware. So there are five hardware parts in the system. Input devices, output devices, CPU, primary memory, and secondary memory. Okay, na? Then next part in complete computer system is software. What is software? Software is a program or instructions. Group of instructions or program is called as software. Okay, na? Instructions or program. Program is nothing but instruction. Program is group of instructions only. Okay na? So this is about software. So instructions are programmed through the, just by using software only we can make utilize all the hardware parts. So by using software, system can perform the required operations. Okay na? Under again software, we can categorize software into two parts. Is it clear now? So the complete computer system can be considered by considering these two parts. Hardware, without hardware we cannot treat it as computer system. Without software we cannot treat it as computer system. If there is no software, then hardware is simple like iron box. Okay na? Iron box. If there is no software or there is no hardware, we cannot load the software into system. Is it clear? Okay na? Then there are two types of softwares. There are two types of softwares. One type is system software. One type is system software. System software is one type of software, and another software is application software. Application software. So first one is system software, second one is application software. Then what is system software? System software is mainly dealing with the system operations and so on. So which which every time this particular system software is supporting system for performing operations. Okay, if you see the system software in depth, there are again three different categories of system software. One is operating system. Without operating system, what I told, without operating system or without software, just a computer is treated as simple iron content or iron box. Okay na? So first one is operating system. Second one is system support software, system support, and third one is system development. System support and system development. Okay na? So like this we can categorize system softwares. Then what is operating system? Operating system is an art of the system. OS is providing so many facilities. I cannot mention all the facilities here. Generally, whenever you write a program, that program related memory is allocated by OS. Memory allocation, which performs memory allocation. Okay na? And which performs controlling operations. With the operating system, our system support is also used for controlling. The operation performance is performed by system support software, and OS is used as memory manager, memory allocation, and device manager, which manages all the devices. Whenever CPU is required, operating system allocates CPU. Whenever memory is required by the user, operating system allocates memory. So memory allocation is taken care by OS, CPU allocation is taken care by OS, and any other controls are processed through OS only. Okay, this is the primary or important system software. And second one is system support. So what do you mean by support? Service. System support software is providing services. Services is provided by system software. Services are provided. Okay na? So whatever the services that are required, such as user interface, whenever user interface is required with the memory or files or database access, the system support software is providing such type of facilities. So services like this, whenever user want to access data, by using system support software, OS provides that particular facility. Whenever data access is required, whenever file access is required, then OS is facilitating that particular access to system support software. System support software. Okay na? So which keeps the system software available to the users. Then next one is system development. What is system development? Generally, system development means whenever you want to write whenever you want to run a program, then the system software is used as language translator. System development software is used as language translators, like a compiler. So compilers or interpreters or runnable softwares. So all these are coming under system development. Okay, now, what is the use of compiler? Compiler compiles the program which convert high-level language or low-level language into machine understandable language. Generally, we are using our own instructions in programming language. Those are understandable to us, but those are not directly understandable to machine. Okay, now, translators are required. So translators are compilers, interpreters. Okay, now, compilers, interpreters, and so on. So these compilers and interpreters' main job is converting instructions, human understandable instructions into machine understandable form. So whatever the high level language you are inputting, That high level language is simply converted into machine understandable language by the system development software. Okay, na, like compilers and interpreters. Okay, and other language, other ones like debuggers, debugging softwares. What is the use of debugging software? This debugging software is also coming under system development. What is debugging software? Debugging software is used for finding the errors in your program. If errors are there which displays those errors, so based on error nature, sometimes the compiler may correct the errors, or otherwise user has to involve correcting those errors. Is it clear now? Okay, now this is about system software. Very briefly, very briefly. Okay, now. So under software, generally software is the group of instructions or program. Okay, na? Software is of two types. One is system software, another one is application software. Up to this, I explained system software. Now, again, under system software, we have three different categories of softwares. One is OS. OS means operating system. So the operating system is also very, very, very important. Without operating system, we cannot perform any operation. Even other operating, the other softwares and hardware equipment is available. Without OS, we cannot perform any operation. That's why we must have any one of the operating systems in your machine, either Linux or MS DOS operating system, or Windows operating system, or Linux or Unix or any other operating system you must have. Okay, na? So through that operating system only we can interact with the machine. Okay, na? With the help of some supporting software, because operating system internally containing all this. Is it clear now? Then what is second type? System support. Second type is system support. So this system support software is providing services. Like whenever user want to access the file or any document or any data, so through the system support, operating system allowing the users to access the data. Is it clear now? Then third type of system software is system development software. System development software is used for developing our own products. So developing products are requiring testing our product or compiling our product. So that's why compilers are coming under systems of development software, and debuggers are coming under system development software. Then what is the use of compiler? I told you. So compiler is used for converting. Compiler is used as translator. Our interpreter are used as translator. Our assemblers are used as translators. So assembler is used for translating assembly language into machine level language, and compilers are used for converting high level language into machine level language. High level or assembler language are understandable to users only, and but machine must understand your program, then only that program can be successfully processed through processor. Okay, so that's why we use the mediators as compilers and interpreters. And by using debugging, it is another system development software which is used for debugging or finding the errors and correcting the errors. Okay, so these three are important system softwares: OS, system support software, and system development software. So this is about system software. Then next software is application software. Application software. Applications. What is application software? Generally, application softwares are written by the developers. Written by the developers or programmers. Okay, na? So by making use of the system software, application softwares are running internally in system. Okay, and again we can categorize application softwares into two different categories. One is general purpose. General purpose. General purpose application software. Application specific. Application specific. What is general purpose software? If you see the general purpose software, generally general purpose software can be bought from, we can buy general purpose software from the developers, and we can use it for many purposes. Many purposes, not only single purpose. We can use that general purpose software for many purposes. Okay, we can buy that particular software from developers or designers or manufacturers. What do you mean by application specific software? Here, application specific software is used for performing specific operations. We cannot use it general purpose. Specific purpose only we can use. Specific purpose we can use this particular software. Is it clear now? So like that, we can categorize software into different categories. Is it clear now? Once again, I will explain computer system, or I will show you the entire part now. So this is the computer. So it is an electronic device. which is used for performing operations by considering data and instructions as input. So that's why we can say a computer can perform these 3 steps in sequence. One is receiving data and instructions from the user or memory, and processing the data using processor, and processing the data and instructions using processor. That particular data can be processed by using instructions with the help of processor. All this data can be processed by considering instructions which are supplied by the programmer or user, and finally providing providing output, and that output can be transmitted to output device or memory. So those 3 steps are summarized in this particular basic computing functions. Okay, so first one is input, second one is output, the third one is processing, the fourth one is storage. Like that we can summarize the entire computer. But how can we say the computer is complete computer system? Without software we cannot treat it as a computer system. Without hardware we cannot treat it as a computer system. So the combination of hardware and software only we can treat it as computer system. Is it clear? Combination of hardware and software only we can treat it as computer system. Then what do you mean by hardware now? Hardware is touchable part, physical equipment. Whatever the physical equipment that is available in computer, that physical equipment is treated as hardware. So if we see the computer, we can observe there are five different types of items. Those 5 items are treated as hardware parts. One is input devices, second one is output devices, third one is CPU, fourth one is primary memories, next one is secondary memory. In the block diagram, above block diagram, I shown 4 parts only, but internally memory storage can be categorized into 2 different categories. One is primary and second one is secondary. Is it clear now? So these 5 are 5 important hardware parts. I have already explained input devices, output devices, purpose of CPU, and primary memory and secondary memory in brief. But the second part in computer system is software. Instructions or a group of instructions or a program is treated as software. If we go in depth, software can be categorized into 2 different categories. One is system software, another one is application software. Again, what is system software? That software is available in the system. At the time of manufacturing, the manufacturers are building this particular software or loading the software internally in computer. Okay, so one is OS. A system software is again categorized into 3 different categories. One is OS, second one is system support, third one is system development. Okay, now without OS, there is no chance of using the system. We cannot use a system without OS. That's why we need to load OS first for making use of all the hardware parts and software. Okay, na? And second one is system support, third one is system development. I've already explained. And next software type is application software. This application software is again internally categorized into 2 different categories. One is general purpose, another one is application specific. What is general purpose? Whatever that software you design, if that particular software is used for performing many purposes, then that particular application software is called as general purpose software. If we design any software, if that particular software is useful for only specific purpose, then that particular software is called specific purpose software. Is it clear now? So this is about computer system. Up to this I want to tell you in this video. In next video I'll start the basics of C language. Thank you.